Hi, Jolie Gabrielle here. Thank you so much again for joining me for this deep dive, sort of. I think this is a mid-level dive into how the chakra, especially the second one, which is called the Svadhisthana or the sacral chakra, relates to the laws of the universe and which ones correlate. Surprise, the same ones that correlate to the root chakra, the Muladhara, are the same ones that correspond to the Svadhisthana, Vadhisthana, or the sacral chakra. And I'll just be saying sacral from here on out because I don't speak Sanskrit very well and I do not want to insult anybody's culture. I'm so grateful that I'm here and I was able to learn these things. So there's so much reverence and humility for this process. So today we're talking about the sacral and how it relates to the laws of the universe and how to bring more of that in so that life gets a lot easier. You can sit down and meditate and remove creative blocks. You can open up those channels of creativity, which are your arms. And there's just certain things that we can do that instead of sitting back and feeling helpless and out of control, we can connect with our body, connect with our energy. And then if science and quantum mechanics is correct, that's what this channel is all about. Me consistently showing up, doing meditations and moving myself closer to my purpose as well as my success. And so if it is true, and if we do these things enough and we meditate and we move out negative energy and darkness and move in more gold light and more positivity, and we really focus there, can our lives change? So let's try this out. All right. So of course, what does this sacral chakra, I was almost going to say it. What does it do? It is the center of creativity, sensuality, and sexuality. It's your pleasure center. Now, it's located a little bit below the belly button, but for all intents and purposes, the belly button would be the second chakra. It's a circle for most of us, so that correlation is obvious. So what happens is oftentimes our pleasure, our sensuality, and our sexuality is mined for other people. For those that are in the know, scientists, corporations, they know exactly about our frequencies and vibrations and how to mine them and how to make us consume. So my job and purpose is to help you call your energy back so that you no longer are slaving to the out of control energy of deception, which is you not remembering who you are, basically. And it's going to be awesome when we get into the solar plexus, which is our own personal power. And I'm sure a lot of these are still going to apply. Nevertheless, we're going to add in a few more. So how does the law of attraction relate to the sacral, and how can we call more of that energy in? Because the sacrum, it governs desires and passions and creativity. The law of attraction teaches us that focusing on positive emotions and intentions, it helps us attract what we desire. Thoughts become things. If you are filled with worry and lack, I asked you to just pivot every once in a while. And I'm not asking you to daydream as much as sit in the energy of your success. See the opposite of where you are. Just for 5 minutes, maybe 3 times a day, practice seeing yourself and believing positive things about you. And make that what you eat. Make that your mental and spiritual nutrition, because cultivating joy and creative expression increases your desire to want to be here. And it helps us to stay grounded and a part of this world. And when we are focusing on lack, it's almost as if we're moving ourselves into a place where we no longer belong here. And if you're here, you belong here, and you have an impact to make. So I would like to help you move out of your own way to allow for the spirit to help you do that, because we need you. All right. Now, of course, the law of vibration. The law of vibration, everything is vibrating at different frequencies. So if you're looking for prosperity in your life or pleasure, since we're in the sacral chakra, the color orange, then maybe that's something you want to close your eyes and think about and feel. What does pleasure feel like? What is fun? I know for me, I'm a very serious person. I don't get most jokes. In fact, I feel like I'm very unique. And that's not a positive thing all the time. I don't get certain jokes and certain things. They go right over my head. And everybody's like, you're so serious. Don't you have a sense of humor? This is what we're talking about. So for me, laughter and lightness is really an important component of how I call in that frequency and vibration, and that energy is an important component of me connecting with my sacral chakra. Laughter, feeling pleasure. It's also very difficult for me to let go and feel pleasure. So I vibrate and I breathe and I bring in that energy, and it has been so helpful, allowing me to relax and be vulnerable, because in that vulnerability becomes more authenticity. And this week in our show, we're going to talk about, the fact that impermanence and uncertainty is permanent and certain. Those are the only thing constant is change. So let's continue to learn how to vibrate with the things that we want, so we can constantly be able to change with grace and ease, because Mother Earth and the universe is constantly changing. All right, there's not much permanence in this existence, so let's find joy in being malleable. Of course, standing 10 toes down on our standards and our morals and what we believe in, but at the same time, knowing that life is in flux. All right, and the other one is, of course, the law of cause and effect. Now, how this relates to the sacral is that our emotional states influence our actions, and actions create outcomes, right? They create the outcomes. So when we harmonize our emotions and desires, and they flow through the sacral chakra, and it leads to positive and intentional action. So when you work with this, especially if you're an artist and you're working with your sacral chakra, you want to spend time there. If you find yourself blocked, if you find yourself imbalanced, it's just not clicking, do a sacral chakra meditation and ground your energy. And one of the things you're like, how do I do it? First things first, just see orange. What does orange look like? Allow that color to move throughout your body and pay attention to how it's making you feel. And then you call in the energy of pleasure, like the law of vibration, the law of cause and effect, the law of attraction. What does that feel like to you? What does your success look like? How are you attracting that in? And from there, when you see in your mind the steps you need to take, sometimes people say it's not even about the steps you need to take. Just focus on the end result and allow for the universe to propel you there. So what does that mean? That means you got to get into the flow. You got to get into the flow of your own energy as well, and be sort of intentional about what you're putting out into the world, as that's so important, because it reverberates. If everything is energy and interconnected, then the way you feel about yourself and your environment becomes very palpable, and your attitude becomes reflected back. It's all a mirror. So what we put out is what we're going to get back, which leads us to, once again, the law of correspondence. So we see 1 and 2 really working in tandem to, double the power of these laws, of utilizing that energy to really call in the maximum amount of these laws, the energy of these laws, in order to help us take action. So the outer reflects the inner, right? Emotions we experience within our body and are governed by this chakra manifest in our relationships and our emotional expression. And believe it or not, they sit on the aura layer. So oftentimes we don't even have to say anything. We could be sitting very still, not moving, not saying anything, and people can pick up on our energy, who we are, what we are projecting. Because at the end of the day, The laws reflect the sacral energy flow, highlighting connection, which is a mirror, right? Between emotional balance, creativity, and the manifestation of our desires. So please sit in the energy of what you desire and what you want. And that is how the laws of the universe are going to recognize you. Of course, they recognize negativity and positivity, no different. So imagine if you pivoted a little bit and you said, you know what? I'm tired of this negativity, this lack and limitation. I'm going to decide and to feel the energy of abundance. And you go out and you look at all the leaves on the tree and you say, there's no way I can count them. There's no way I can count the grains of sand. There's no way I can count the blades of grass. And if Mother Earth has abundance like this, I know that's within me. So let me work to tap into it. You sit in your chakra and you begin to align and feel the energy. Sometimes silence is the best. And your intention in what you are doing in your meditation and your vision can be really powerful, and it can program into those cells, and then it tells the earth what to bring you. But this takes practice, I should say, and this takes practice. So don't forget, throughout the day, sit in the energy of attraction, abundance, cause and effect, positive cause and effect, positive correspondence. Be a positive mirror. Instead, if somebody comes to you and says something that's disrespectful, I saw this video the other day where this gentleman was like, you pause for a few seconds and you make it real awkward, or maybe just a little awkward. And then you say, it is beneath me to respond to that energy. You know, that is beneath my standard of a response. And I thought that was so beautiful. Why allow for a person to drag you down? It's time for us of a higher frequency and vibration who are working on that to start pulling mankind up. You are your brother's keeper. That's just facts. And so let's look out for one another. And so please, by all means, meditate on the laws of the universe. Bring that energy into your chakras so that you can then lead by example in the highest and best way with grace and ease. This is Jolie Gabrielle. Thank you again for joining me, and have a great rest of your day.